And we are here with DFIR Jesse going over Ludus once again and Guacamole and how you can access your range from anywhere in the world. All you, Jesse.
Right on. Thanks, Vagos. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Everyone, thanks for coming out again and going through this presentation with me. Happy to talk about Guac and Ludus range on here. So let's just dig in. But first, who's this that's talking to you? I'm not that dog in the picture. That's my dog, Rocky. He guards me. Right now, he's not doing a very good job in the picture. But yeah, as Mago said, I'm Jesse. This is me. Those are all my certs in the background and diplomas and whatever. But you can go ahead and find me on LinkedIn. That's fine. Go ahead and reach out if you have questions about my experience, what I've done, and you want to learn more. And with that, some kind of highlights, some things I've done in the past. I've done security engineering type stuff with threat detection, response, pen testing at a university, along with forensics. I've also taken some pretty cool courses that I really like, including this Red Team Operations course. I definitely recommend if you have not taken a course like that. And I've also done some consulting work, I guess you can call it, for Ren ISAC as a pen tester. And last but not least, I have been participating for over 6 years at collegiate cyber defense competition, mostly as a red teamer for about 4 years. And then after that, I think since COVID happened, I was on the operations team for WRCCDC, the Western region, building out systems that students can get into, like email system, a website, SQL databases, you name it. Kind of like build out an enterprise system where students have to come and protect it and operationalize things, and then also protect it from red teamers and industry experts trying to break in and do damage and have a lot of fun in their systems. So if you would like to check that out and that sounds interesting to you, please get a hold of me and I could most likely get you on the red team or on the ops team for the next collegiate cyber defense competition for either WRCCDC or PRCCDC. So without further ado, let's actually get into why we're all here. So we're here to access a range, specifically a Ludus range from the internet, from a domain name, with Guac. I'm in love. Let's do this. Let's get into that cyber range. The cyber range will be using Ludus. If you haven't checked out Ludus, oh my gosh, please do. And so the end result is this picture here is going to be this Guacamole setup where you're going to have access to RDP into a Kali, a Windows 11, and some other boxes that you want to get into. So what exactly is Guac and what exactly is a Ludus range? So I'll just use the actual link. So here it is. The actual link is basically it's a picture of somebody using a browser to access their desktop. That's pretty much what it is. But go ahead and take a look at this later. They have a whole video here, but basically it's access your computer from anywhere. There's many ways to do it. You could use Docker. You could probably use Ansible. You can do a whole bunch of things. The way I will show is just one way to do it. But that's Guac at a high level-ish. Now, a Ludus range is a little harder to explain. Ludus range is from these fine folks over here. Go ahead and go to ludus.cloud. Basically, the easiest way to deploy a dev test infrastructure. And really, you can go into the docs, go to quick start, and by creating these users, you can go ahead and you can have these ranges. But the better way to show this for you is to just show you my Proxmox and to show you my range. So when I created a user called RTA1, and it populated this particular pool within Proxmox. So if you go to this view here, you can go to server view, or you can go to pool view. And so in pool view, you can see these pools. These are basically users. I have a user that called EX, but I actually have an Exchange environment in here. Ludus makes it really easy to just build these different ranges really fast. That's why I have so many. But what we'll look at today is how to build out this particular range here. and specifically a Guac machine on an Ubuntu machine to put Guac on to then be able to access via Cloudflare with a domain name on the internet via a browser. So I think that actually solves the what is a range. It's Ludus range here. We'll dig in a little bit more on how that actually functions and work. So let's go into what I like to do a lot is actually do it. Let's do the demo stuff. So let me remove this out of here. And if you've attended any of my things before, you know that I like Notion. So here's Notion. I've already shared this out to folks on the Discord for Null404. So if you're watching this later, go ahead and join Null404's Discord group and check out the link there. So first and foremost, we're going to just go into like the prereqs of this. So can I make this bigger? No, I can't make this bigger unless I do the font. That's fine. But the prereqs is create a user. I kind of showed you that with that create user link to Ludus Cloud. And you just follow their instructions. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So just do that, create the user, and then you'll add a template. They also have a templates area. But basically, what you'll do is this kind of list of things right here. So let me go ahead and pull up my kind of remote shell management application, I guess you want to call it. Really, it's called Remote Desktop Manager is what it is right here from Devolutions. If I were to like look for it online so that if others are like, what is that? So it's free remote desktop for manager by Devolutions. So these fine folks, this is where you get it, and you can download it for free. You can also buy more enhanced parts of it. I believe it's accessible from Linux, Mac, Windows. I'm using it on Windows. So yeah, that is that. Get that out of the way. So that's what we're looking at here. So the Proxmox GUI that you saw is pretty much this right here, which is let me exit out and go back in. Basically, it's my Ludus box on K8s, and these are all my settings that I have running on the box. So you can like pause the video and like see what exactly I have in there. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to check out my range. So how you build out a range is you got to you got to nano, vim, v, whatever your editor of choice is, use it, and then just create a name of something. I just happen to call mine RTA1 null404 range.yaml. Definitely have the .yaml part. The other part of it is arbitrary. You just do whatever you want. So here is the Ludus schema, I guess you would call it. But basically, this piece is pretty familiar if you're used to Terraform or if you're used to Packer or CloudFormation or some other kind of automation framework. It looks very close to what you would see in those other ones where you're like, hey, create a VM name. So we're going to call this that name. We're going to use a certain template. We're going to have it on a VLAN. We're going to make the last octet this .10. We're going to give it 32 gigs of RAM, which that seems like a lot. So if you have Ludus 2, please have a lot of RAM or make that lower, because this will drain your system. Yeah, so and you can even use chocolatey packages to install applications like Wireshark. So pretty cool, or Tailscale, or what have you. Even though I worked with someone and there is an Ansible that can just go ahead and Ansible roll for Ludus that can just add Tailscale to all the Ludus ranges. So definitely check that out later. That's pretty cool. But what we're really focusing on is this Ubuntu Guac. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab... I think I'm going to remake this. So basically, I've given in here, this is all right here. So you have it, you can change this 32 to like, I don't know, 16 or something. That's pretty big. But I have it all here, so you can do that. But once you have it in there, let's say you git clone. For me, let me get out of here. Um, and so once I'm in there, I just do an ls, and you'll find an area where it's a directory that's templates. So you go templates, ls, and so these are all the other templates that can be put on the system. And so that's where we go back here, and that's where you saw cd ludus templates. And then to add that template, you'd have to just grab this or copy it from there, go into here, paste it. And so basically what you're doing with Ludus is you're Ludus, hey Ludus, use these templates, add it from the directory where you're at right here, this particular Ubuntu, which is right here. And then once you add that, I'm just going to cancel because I've actually already done that. And to check that, you can do Ludus, rain. Actually, I probably have it in the doc. Here, let's do this. Oh, I don't. Okay, that's fine. Ludus templates, list. So if you list it, if you just added it, this true will not be true. It'll be false. So I've already added it amongst a lot of other things I already added that I've done just before. But I've already added it. But once you add it, it'll say false. And so to make that say true, to actually build the template, to be able to use the template, you're going to have to do this next piece, which is, hey, Ludus template, build it. So you just copy that, put it in there, paste it, and do it. This is going to error out because there's nothing to build. Ludus templates status, to like see the status. No template builds in progress. Yep, because you don't need to do any. But you can find out when it ends by using that. Or if you wanted to follow along, you can do Ludus templates logs. If you just want to see the logs like as they are right now, boom, you just press that. But if you want to follow along and just watch the progress, you just do -F. But that's all right here as well, so you don't have to memorize that. Oh, geez. Awesome. I guess I didn't do that. Did I do that? I didn't do that. So let's go ahead and add that. Why not? View the status of the build. And we'll say code. We'll use that code, and we'll do Ludus range. Nope, not range. I like to say range a lot. I like to build a lot of ranges. So Ludus templates. There's the list one, but we don't want list. We want Ludus range status, and then Ludus range. Whoops. Yeah, I like ranges. Ranges are awesome. Templates, logs, and then follow. So cool. There's both of those. But let's actually really do stuff. So as you saw, I already had, and I named it something different before in this one. So it was like, what did I call it? Let's go back here. I actually called it, called it this. Again, you can call it whatever you want though. So nano, that, and then you're going to paste that in there. You're going to adjust some things if you want. So what I will say though is if you want this to go fast, you can get rid of this piece. But one thing I will point out is down here at the network where it's going to reject VLAN to VLAN type stuff. So like AKA, like if you look up here, this says VLAN 10, the Kali box. And then if I had this one say like VLAN 13, then it couldn't go back and forth, that kind of stuff. And then this other one that's kind of important is it'll always block a network. So this one's important. So like if I make this available out on the internet and like someone gets in, right, then they could potentially like scan my network, my home network. So what I like to do here is I say, don't touch my home network. So basically it makes it so they can't, touch my home network, which by the way, makes it so that I can't also touch it other than SSH. So I'll show you that later as we dig in a little bit more. So the other thing you would have to do, and what is going on here? somehow this recorded in here when we all were talking later. Interesting. How did that happen? That's awesome. Interesting. Play. All right. Ain't crazy. Hit smart. It was. Wow, it recorded me. Somehow I had it recording. Anyways, ignore all that stuff. So you're gonna have to grant access if you have like a regular range and then you built this other user, right? And so if you had your regular range, and what I mean by regular range is if I bring back my Proxmox. For me, my very first range was JM for Jesse Moore. And so that's my regular range. And so when I built another one, basically I had to give this user permission to do stuff as this, or actually like impersonate this user to do things. So to do that, I had to say, hey, Ludus range, access grant that new range that I created, and then my default user that I first created. It'll be different for you. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and do this Ludus range set f, this file. So that same file that I changed the name of, but I'm have it the same here. You'll do that, and then you'll say you're going to do that as this user. And then when you deploy it, see, this is so easy. When you deploy it, you're going to deploy it as that RTA user. Again, you're impersonating that RT user. And then I do the whole log range log f thing. It looks like I did it here, but I didn't do it up there with the templates. But I did it with the range command. So that's cool. I'm not going to go into deploying the range per se. Although we can. Actually, let's do, so, because I obviously already have the range here, right here. But what I can do is I can repurpose this range, so this Guac range. So I'll do that on the fly. Why not? So let's do, let's try to figure out how to do that. So if I do Ludus range status, it'll give me all the boxes. And the name specifically is what I want. And I need specifically that Guac14 -- user RTA1. So where is that Guac? Right here. So I'm going to take that name like that. I'm going to have to go look through history. I'm going to grep limit, because I use this like limit command, you'll see here in a minute. So I'm going to do this basically. I'll explain this. So let's see here. So I'm doing the Ludus range. Hey, do something with a range. Deploy the range, specifically limiting it to, and I always have to put localhost there. It's just how it works. And then this is the machine specifically that I want to redeploy. What did that do? Local, and then this is the machine. There. Okay, and then as this user. So what I'll do is if I press enter now, oh no, what did it say? Deploy flag. Usage, deploy, tag strings, Ansible tags run display. Maybe that T is not supposed to be there. There we go. So it's starting over again. So if I bring back this will probably go away. So let me check Ludus range, logs, F, and then as the user, RTA1. So we're going to look, and it's Ansible is doing a bunch of Ansible things. If you're not familiar with Ansible, it's a great automation tool for once you've deployed the actual like Windows Server, Windows Desktop, Linux Server, whatever the host is, the VM is, to like do stuff, configure it, like put software on it, put aha. So, okay, one changed, blah, blah, blah. So supposedly it did it. Let's see here. List, ls, history. Okay, so it looks like it may have. Let's find out. Let's really find out. So if I go and I use my remote management tool and pull it over here, and we go to the Guac, cancel out all this. It looks like, nope, all this stuff is here. So that didn't actually redeploy it like I thought it was going to do. I thought it was going to redeploy it. I wonder if it has to be turned off to redeploy it like that. So let's just really quick, I can show you another cool command. Ludus power off in, I think, no, not the whole thing. I don't, I think, what is it? RTA1. RTA1. I should have made that a shorter name. Ubuntu dash. I'm looking in my other screen at the name. Okay, I think that's it. Da, 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 da. Oh, not found. Power off. Oh, wait. I'm in the wrong box. I'm in the Guac box. Come on, guys. So let's do it here. So what I'm doing is I'm telling it to power off. If I bring this over here, it should. Oh, wait. I gotta tell it as that user. Hang on. Cancel. Oh, I did do it as a user, so that's fine. Okay. Well, it's all there. So usually that works, but I'm a little impatient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it here. Stop. I'm actually going to. I'm just impatient, is what it is. Look at this. So while this stops, oh, it stopped. Is there any questions so far? Any questions? Yeah. All right. Well, I'll take that as a no. But go ahead and speak up if you do. I'm going to go ahead and just remove this. You're like, but you did all that work. Nope, don't matter. I'm going to remove it. And then I'm going to do Ludus range. Actually, okay. Ludus range deploy. As the user, RTA1. So Ludus is smart, or Ansible is smart in that it goes ahead and says, oh, I see these things are there already. I'm not going to go ahead and like redo them. I'm only going to do stuff that's like, that needs to be done. So, and how that looks is, let's go ahead and kind of, squish this up so maybe I can see something here, but it's already doing it. So it's rebuilding that Guac. So again, the power of Ansible is just so cool. Where I can just, and of course Ludus is making this happen. But basically, so if I go Ludus, range, logs, F, and then user, RTA1. And so here it's like, hey, I'm trying to acquire the IP address for this. Basically, it's changing the IP address to what we wanted it to, what we set it in the config file. Then it's just doing a bunch of stuff. But eventually what we want to see is Ludus, range, status. Oh, it errored, huh? Um, oh, yeah. So we need to impersonate. We need to impersonate RTA. One. There we go. Yep. It's still deploying for sure. There's the null IP address that is trying to get an IP address for. If I look at it over here, here it is. Just kind of going through the motions. And it'll be going pretty soon. So let's go back while this is building. Hopefully others are building theirs. Much like this, you're still probably building out, the router's still built or probably hopefully built already, and these other pieces are building. If you're following along, because yeah, you would have already deployed stuff by now. And then we'll get into installing Guac on this machine. So again, this can probably let me just, let's see here, Docker, Guac, go. Oh, why am I using Microsoft Bing? Here we go. You could do it this way as well. Through a Docker container. Yeah, I tried doing an Ansible thing, but I kept getting tripped up on giving it passwords for MySQL and some other things. I just need to keep going, but I didn't. All right, so it looks like the Ubuntu box is still waiting for the network to configure. All right. Fine. So while we wait for that, then, again, you're going to need a domain. So definitely go to Namecheap. Go ahead and purchase a domain name. I'll show you how to do it through here. Oh, it looks like, okay, Guac is now up. So that's good. If we go to the summary, we can see the IP address is 2. It's .2. So if we go back here and go to this .2 that changed, but I have .2 here, as you can see. And with the Ubuntu box, the username is local user, and the password is always password, all lowercase. Okay, that's just default for Ludus and how it sets it up. So again, you can just log in as local user, and now we're on the Guac box. So cool. And also another fun feature of this is you can do a sudo -i, and that'll drop you right into a root pound privilege. So that's another cool feature added there. So with that, we'll just go ahead and install Guac. So I'm going to copy this, the git clone. We're going to git clone this. Actually, probably since this is a fresh box, the best thing to do here is apt update -yes and apt upgrade -yes. It shouldn't take that long. I have pretty speedy fiber internet, as you can see. So while that happens, I should probably add that somewhere to the documentation, like code apt update -y and apt upgrade -y. So you have the latest and greatest. Because I forget, I think I tried to do something and it just didn't like it. And I had to do this for it to grab something. Right, we're almost there. So I'm going to re-emphasize that this Guac machine is going to give us access to only this range, because when using Ludus, it's using a VPN. I haven't showed that, but basically here I have WireGuard, and I have a WireGuard, and specifically it goes to this range. So if I go back out here, I go back here, the ranges, like this one's range 14. The VLAN piece is 14. Let me actually say okay to this thing, and then let me say okay to this thing. But yeah, so this is range 14. So like if you go to a different one, let's say LeHack. If you go to LeHack and go to this box, this router, this is 18. Okay. And so only you can VPN to those particular ones. Like so like the 14 right here, I have routes to 14, and of course I have routes to that 1018 as well. I got a whole bunch of ranges, so I've got a whole bunch of stuff in my my config file. So I kind of skipped over that. That's you when you're in Ludus and you've built out a range. That's kind of the prerequisite. Is you build it out on your own. You'll have to do like Ludus, WireGuard, WireGuard, something I forget, but you can. It's in that create users area, and you'll walk through it. So back to here. Okay, so we have our Guac. It's all updated. Let's get back to action. So we did that. Let's just copy this, paste it in here. Got all that. Okay, cool. Let's just CD into where we need to CD into. I know I'm going really fast, but this is all here for you for later. So we're going to chmod the sh file, and then we're just going to run it. So run it. And then this will be like, hey, do you want TOTP? You probably do, but I'm going to say no for right now just to make this easy. And it's like, come on, MFA, don't you want it? We've got Duo. Yeah, I do, but for this situation, I'm just not going to. Then it's going to ask you to install MySQL. Yes, this is essential. You need MySQL. That's just what it needs. And then just come up with a password, something better than mine. Mine's super bad, but don't worry. It'll work. And then let's see here. And then the Guacamole user password. Or MySQL Guacamole user password, that is. Because then you'll also get the Guac admin default, which is like Guac admin, which if you're putting it on the internet, you'll probably get scanned really quick and pwned almost as quickly. So, okay, cool. So typically at this point, once it completes, I would go to it locally. So I would go HTTP because Guac is it's not SSL, but when we do Cloudflare, it'll actually make it SSL for us. So don't worry about that. But locally, what I typically do, if I didn't do that networking thing that you saw earlier, where we did the whole like nano, wait, I think it's, yeah, nano RTA, way down here. I forget what the quick command is for it. But basically, if I didn't do this, we could go ahead and look at it right now. But since I did that, we can't actually go look at it locally. But if you were, you just use 8080 / guacamole, and then change your Guac admin from Guac admin to something else. Usually what I do is I just create another user account, and then I disable this Guac admin account is what I do. So let's get back. So this is what we like to see, a bunch of OKs. It's almost completed. And then we can go ahead and let's just say we're going to, we need that domain name. So it looks like it did complete. We are completed. It's kind of hard to see with the blue, but basically it says installation complete. Visit it locally. You can do that. And then there's the username and password, and then go in and change some things. But we'll do that a different way. So the next thing you want to do is go to Namecheap and yes, go to Namecheap and buy your online thing. So that's all I'm going to show. But go ahead and buy your online thing. For now, I'm just going to say that. I'm going to next go ahead and just use the screenshots here because I don't want to show anything else. But in Namecheap, you can go ahead and go to the area where it says name servers right here, and you can put in custom DNS. And so you want to go to your Cloudflare as well. So go ahead and sign up for Cloudflare. With Cloudflare, you're going to want to, and I'm not going to show that because I'm afraid, I'm scared. But no, here's my Cloudflare. But basically, you're going to want to use the free plan. At first, you'll look, and when you sign up, it'll be like, oh, pay $30 a month or something. But don't worry about that. You can pay. You can do free. There's a free plan, and this only needs to be free. So, but once you do that, and you go into your domains area under this domain list, go to your name server, and then add the Cloudflare. So from Cloudflare DNS that you have. Go to Namecheap and add your Cloudflare DNS. Let me see if I can find where my DNS is easily. So I'm actually looking on their website. So like locations, zero trust gateway, DNS locations, add a location. I don't know that necessarily gives me the DNS that I want. I just want what the DNS is of Cloudflare. Does anybody know how to find that? Cloudflare DNS. I'll just search online. DNS records. So automatically scan. Go to the dashboard, DNS records. Okay, dashboard, DNS records. I'm not going to show you because I don't want to mess something up here. Cloudflare account and domain. Not that easy. Yeah, I don't think the documentation lines up quite like I would want. Aha. Okay. Let me just make sure that I'm not showing things I don't need to show. Okay, cool. So here we are. So basically, if you go into the DNS records, and then you scroll all the way down to the bottom, these are the Cloudflare names that you need to then put into your Namecheap. I won't show that right now because again, I don't want to show things. But anyways, so back to the docs. So add it there, just like that. And what we'll do next is we'll add Docker because Cloudflare, when we go ahead and put the tunnels in, it uses Docker. So we're going to have to copy this right here. And we'll paste it in the Guacamole because that's what we want available to the internet. And so installing that should probably not take very long. Say OK. I'll tab and press enter, say OK, and it's pretty much done. What I also like to do, and you can like install tmux or whatever, but I'm going to apt install screen so that when I run that Cloudflare Docker, and so now I'm into a screen session because I did screen create a session with a capital S, and I called it Guac. That's the name of the session, and now I'm in it. And then if you need to later on look at it, you can use this screen list. And then if you need to reattach because you exited out, you can do screen -R for reattach and then whatever the PID is that you found in screen list. kind of a deal, which is this PID only. Yeah. So yeah, again, this is so like if my if I like exited out, it wouldn't actually stop Guacamole because I've done that. So okay, go to the Cloudflare, add the free plan. Okay, we already talked about that. Go to zero. So this is Zero Trust Networks Tunnel. Okay, so yeah, you'll want to do that. Zero Trust Networks, then Tunnel, and then that'll show this, and we'll create a name. So this one I called it Guac. And then from there, you don't see it, but all the way to the right is the Docker piece of it. And so before you do that, though, you have to actually do this whole like public host name deal. So let me see if I can do that elegantly by first kind of looking at some things over here. Okay, so like I'm going to use this user here that I already created. But once you create it, you're actually going to name it like that screenshot that you saw. There's the Docker piece. But excuse me, before you do that, you got to go ahead and attach it to a public host name. And so that is where you add the public host name. So this would look like this. You'd call it Null404 Guac, let's say. The domain would just populate because you already put it in earlier. It would just be there. And then you'd have to select you want HTTP. Well, it's HTTP. And let me go back to real quick. I think the documents show me something. URL. Okay. Yeah. So that the URL will actually be your inside URL. So we're in the Guac. If I do IPA, then again, we're in the 14 network inside our VPN. So this is our host. So that's the IP address that I want is that one. So I put that here. So again, that's your inside. And then you want to do 8080 because that's Guac's thing. And then you save the host name. And then we can go back to the overview, select the Docker, select the connector, and let's go ahead and get out and stop this. And add it here, paste it. It'll go ahead and pull the Docker container, install, do all the things. And then once it's done, we should be able to access it online. Everybody can access it online. So let's go back to the host. It's right here. Let me click on it. Yep, it's up. It works. So, but if I specifically say Guac Mole, I could then get into this area. So again, it's Guac admin. Please don't be pwned. Guac admin. Yep, I know I'm on password lists and all that good stuff. Not now, please don't. So what I like to do is I go into settings, I go to users, a new user. The user is going to be DFR Jesse. It's going to have the DFR Jesse password, and hopefully use manager 2. It's going to have all the things. Usually I clone actually, but I'm just doing this right now. So I saved it. So now that I've saved it, I will go ahead and log out, re-log in. Log in as DFR Jesse. Come in here, go back to settings, go to users, go to Guac, and log in disable and save. All right, whew, safe. That's good. Okay, so cool. Really neat. Let me stop though and pause and go, wow, we're like anybody here, you can go ahead and go to this. And I'm going to put it in the meetup text. You could actually go there and you won't really see anything other than the splash page. But we're there. We're online. We're on a browser. But we need to get to our Linux machine. So that's where these connections come into play. So we do new connection. We'll call this one. So let's see here. If I go to our Proxmox, let's see here. Where do we want to go? We want to, let's say we're going to go to this Windows desktop. Yeah, we're going to go to the Windows desktop, and this one is located at 11, it looks like. So copy that. And I'm just going to move this out of the way, and we'll call this Win 11. It's gonna be within the root location. It could be somewhere else, but it's just gonna be in root. We're gonna use RDP and number of connections. I can have multiple connections. I'm just gonna have one because everybody here is gonna watch me. And then let's see here. Proxies, we don't need that. Network. So this is where we need to put in what our host IP address is. And then we're using 3389 for RDP. And then most likely it's local because Ludus does local user for username. And then the password as password. I think it should still be the same. I don't know that I made a domain. Hopefully I did not. Hopefully there's no security stuff. So I'm just going to ignore these server certificates. And then I'm just going to add a little extra, like, let's see here, supports, maybe wallpaper theming, smoothing, drag the full window, and maybe bitmap caching, off-screen caching. And that's it, I think. And then, yeah, let's just save that. Change your password. I know, yes, password's not good. And so now we've added Windows 11 there. So if I go out of here and go to home and say, like, I logged in for the first time, well, let's do it. So if I get out here and what everybody else sees out online is like this, make me an account. Sure. So like, I'm going to go in here real quick. I'm going to log in as myself. And then here's Win 11. And then now I clicked on it and here I am logging in. Let me get out of this so I can kind of do proof of concept here. And so here's the Win 11. There it is right there. There it is right here. And if I go in here, because you're only allowed to do one at a time type of thing. If I do this, it'll actually kick me out of this one over here. See, like it did. And like, FYI, this is like what happens at CCDC competitions when the red team actually gets the password and they try to RDP into boxes. Like the blue team will be in there and all of a sudden they'll see this or they won't see it and it'll like time out and then the red teamers will get in, right? And then the red teamers in and they're like, crap. Or what happened to me a long time ago was like I got in and then what the blue teamer did was logged in. So let me log back in here. So I'm a blue teamer. I come in and I log back in and I take over and usually it would, this is a little different because this is a console, but usually it would ask me and it'd give me like 30 seconds to respond before it handed over control. And then I would not see it and I would get upset. And I had workarounds for it, but I won't go into that. Anyways, so that's how you access that online. So let's see here. What is next on our list of stuff? So this walked through everything we just walked through. Again, this walked through all that. More stuff. Kind of walk through everything that we just went through, except for this one shows if I had a domain. One, that's how you would do the domain, ludus.domain type of deal. And then really that's it. We've done Ludus and Guac. So celebrate everybody. You now can access your range from the internet via a domain that you set up. You just got to do a couple more of these, right? So this was just one. If you want to do all of these, then you have to set up more, obviously. So with that, I'm going to go back to the slide and I'm going to say Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming out, checking it out. If you haven't already, join the Null404 Discord or talk to me on Twitter or whatever. Or check out Ludus at ludus.cloud and all that. So with that, people, do you have questions? Other than what box is that on? And if that's the question, that's the box right there, mini PC. And here's the Discord Ludus invite. So go ahead and get on there.
Well, very nice. Thank you so much, Jesse.
Happy to do it. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions before we shut it down for the evening? Alrighty, well, it looks like our wonderful CertBot has put tonight's CE certification in the chat, so go ahead and make sure you grab that while you can. Otherwise, thank you all for coming, and I hope you all have a fantastic Null evening.